Hello friends, welcome to my channel, a channel for learning simple coding. If you find this video to be helpful, please like, share and subscribe my channel. In this video, we are going to learn what is the difference between client and server component in Next.js. So these things we want to understand in this video. How to create client component, how to create server component, how client component is different from server component, and how to call client component within a server component, that we are going to understand. For that, go to the application, and here we have this application which we have completed so far in different videos. So we are going to create a server or client component. First of all, I create client component. So under the web route here, I create a route. I say client. This is a route. Under this client, I create page.tsx. Remember, it's a normal type of component, but I'm converting this component into client component in Next.js. So I say RAFCE. Remember that this is the page here and this is the client route. Under this, we have a normal component. If I want to convert this component into client component, I have to use it here, use client. Remember that. So this must to specify use client at the top of the component. Second thing, in client component, we have to write use client at the top of the component. And if you try to understand the concept of client and server component, you can assume yourself that all the React based component is called client component and the pure Next.js components are called server component. So client component means I can use React hooks and React API under this. So what I can do, I'm just giving example here. This is a client component and under this I create here use state. So I say here name and I say set name. Remember that these are the user state. So I say use state here and under this I provide in default name. I say Dr. Vipin classes like this and specify here also it is of string type. So I say it is a string type of value I'm passing. But you see that it is providing a here error. Why? Because we have to convert this component into React component because we are using React use state React hook we are using. So if I'm using a React library in a Next.js, then I need to specify use client at the top and I have to give the name in capital letter like page we have. So I have to convert this page into capital letter. Remember that I need to import like this. I have to convert name like this. You see error is gone because we have to convert in a React format, and in React all the component name start from capital letter. You can learn in React also. So this page is not looking like a good one, so I can change the name also. I say client. Same I can put here client like this. So I'm giving this, you can give any name, but I'm showing you that this is a client component, so I'm giving here client use state. Now under this what I have to do, I have to call this component here. So what I do, I say button. So under the div, I have to design some, you can say event handling in this component. All type of event handling which we do in React, all complete or done inside a client component. You can't use event handling in server component in Next.js. Remember that. So here I'm using a button, and in this button I say change name like this. It's a very simple type of concept to understand the use of client component. And here I say on click. Under this on click we have to pass a function. So I'm just directly passing a arrow function here, and I say set name, and I'm converting this name to set name, and I say Dr. Vipin like this. I am creating this button, and because I'm using Tailwind here, so I can say class name also, and I design some styling for this because it look like a button. So I say button. So I say here rounded. First of all rounded, and then I say after rounded I say here color. So I say BG, and I say yellow type of color. I can take yellow color also, or I can say orange color if it is there. Yeah, orange color is there, so I can say orange color. I say paragraph we need to 2, and I say I need text color. Text color should be I think black. We can change later on. So this is my client component, remember, and I want to change the name. This name I want to display also. So before the button I say here h1, and inside this I say name. So and I can say here welcome to this name I am passing here under the h1, but h1 doesn't work in Tailwind, so we have to provide this class name also. So I say here text Excel because I want to make it capital type of this, and I say font bold also. font bold like this. So this is a component which I have created so far to change the name of this. This is client component, remember that, like this. Now change name. Now we have to go to the navigation. So under the component I have navbar. So in this navbar I'm removing this product and service. So in place of product I say client, and here I pass client. I think C is capital, so I say client like this. Service also I remove, I say server, and here I say also server like this, and I can make it server small also, no need to make capital. So this is the things which we have changed in navbar. Now you see the client and server is coming. If I click on client, you see we have client. This button is ready, so I can change the color of this to white because orange is not looking good. So I say here text white like this, and I can say font bold also, font bold like this. And if you see that this is changed to this, if I click on this, you see name is changed, remember, because we are performing event handling. That's why we have this one. So again, I refresh it, or I click on home and I click on client, and you see that client is coming, and I click here and click on this and name is changed. So this client is working properly. But if I remove, remember, client from here, suppose I make it comment. So what will happen? You will see that error will come. I refresh it, you see error is coming, and it's saying that you are importing a component that need use state. Use state is a hook in React library. So it's saying that it only work in client component. It can't work in server component. And by default, all the component in Next.js are server component. Remember that. So if I remove the comment, now this component is become client component because we are going to use here React library. So now click here, name is changed. So you see how this component is working. Now we can create server also. Server component, how we can create? Just click on web folder, web route here, and create a one more folder. And here I say server. Under this server, I say page.tsx, and here I say RAFCE. So by default, all the component which we are creating here called server component. So I display here under this, I say h1, I say server component. Remember that this server component, and I can set some styling to this also. So I say class name, and here I say font bold, and I say here text extra large double XL. Save this, and this is a server component, remember that. So here we have a server also. I click here and you will see that we have a server component. So this is client component. In client component we can perform event handling also, we can use hook also. But in server component we don't use hooks or event because it execute on server side, and server side event handling doesn't perform because server side is not execute on a browser. Remember that. That's why we can't use event handling in server component. So by default this is server component, but if forcefully you want to say, you can also say use server. You can write this also. So use client, use server. Now completely it's a, you can say, server component. No problem in execution. By default is also server, but now forcefully is a server component. So we have understand now what is client component, what is server component, how client component is different from server component. All client components are React component. You can perform event handling inside this. You can use hooks also, you can use classes also, but in server component we need to execute only server side code. Async await type of library you can perform on server component, you can't perform on client component. So that is different, and by default all the component in Next.js are server component, but you have to manually design client component to specify as a use client. But if you want to specify this component completely as a server, so you can put here use server also. Both are equivalent. If you don't use it, then it is equivalent. If you use it, then it is also okay, no problem at all. Now last point is how to call client component within a server component. So I can call it here. So I say here client, first of all client component, because this is the client one. So I'm using here inside this client component. So I'm using this client component in server component, and I'm calling this like this. You see, now you will see that in server component also, you suppose this is client component and this is server component. So within a server component we have client components also. If I click in, you see name is changing. So I'm using client component within a server component. Now I do just opposite of this. Now I try to call our server component within a client component and try to use it. So here also, after button, suppose I say here server, you see it is not coming. Why? Because the name of this is page. Remember that server component name is page, and this is the name is server. So I try to change the name of this. I say server is the name of the component, and I also change to server like this. Remember, I'm changing the name of this. Now under this I call server also. So I say server component under the server page. So like this I'm using it. Save this. Now you will see that in server also, you see it's showing an error. First of all, I go to home page, press enter. You see home is working. If I click on server, you see server is coming, and I click on this, and you see this is not working right now. You see error, application error, client side exception has occurred, browser console for more information. You see they are not working because I tried to use server component within a client component. Remember that this server component have page.tsx file and component name is server. Like this, we have server component. Here I'm using client component. So I just comment this. First of all, try to show. I remove this from the server side. Now I try to check once again. You see, so if I click on server side, you see server component is working perfectly, no problem. If I click on client component, you see client is also working and I'm able to use server component also inside a client. But if I'm using client component in server component and server component client component, the cycle is formed. So because of that, cycling is not working. Remember that. Once again, if I remove the comment from this client component, and you will see that it will show some error. So the client component, you see there is a error because this client component is not responding right now. You see it's not working. So cycling is building here. Otherwise you can use client to server component as per your requirement. So I'm removing here from this client component to server component. Mostly we use client component within a server component, but you can use interchangeably also. Remember that. Go to this. Now you see server component using client component, no problem, event handling is working. In client component we have this one, and we can use server component in client component also. Remember that. But there should not be a cycling, means they can't use each other. If I'm using client component, then I can call server component also. If I'm using server component, I can call client component also. But we can't do the same. I can't use the like this I'm using here, means interchangeably in client I'm calling server, in server I'm calling client. So one cycle is formed, so it going to the recursion mode. Remember that. That's why it is hanging the application. So don't call like this, call only one another inside another. So you can use server within a client and you can use client within a server. Both are workable. So I have explained you that what is the difference between client component and server component, how you can use a client component within a server component, and how you can use server component within a client component. Everything I have explained in this video. I think now you understand that difference between client and server component. So if you like this video, you learn something new from this, please do subscribe. Thank you for watching this video.